Hello. Winter has arrived in Cleveland, and it's cold out. It's about 28 degrees out, and it's November something, November 16th, and it looks like we are not going to have any more warm days, and it appears that we're going to have winter for about 4 more months, because that's how it rolls here in Cleveland. Once it is winter, it doesn't really change until it becomes spring, which can be anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6 months. Really, you got to get to April 1st for it to get, above the 50-degree threshold. So, unfortunately, we have gone into winter. But I do not think Bitcoin has gone into winter. I think we are ready to pop. It might not feel like that right now because Bitcoin's going to rip your heart out before it rips up. I think we're floating around 60K right now. I am leveraged up. I am ready to go. Leveraged up as in I've borrowed some USD to purchase more BTC, USD to BTC, and then I have to owe the USD back in about a year's time for all the loans that I took. So yeah, I'm doing a speculative attack that Michael Saylor has talked about, other people have talked about, and this is it's risky. It's for sure risky. I'm taking my shot. I am going for it, and if it doesn't work out, that sucks. That sucks for me. I won't lose everything. I won't even lose half of everything. I'll lose some. If in a year's time it goes to 30, 40, 50K, I'll lose a significant amount. If it stays at 60 or 70, I'll just about break even. If it goes to 80, 90, 100, I'll make profit. If it goes to 150 or higher, I'll be sitting pretty. This was all to just increase my BTC position. Nothing else. I'm not even really thinking about, of course I'm thinking about dollars in terms of what it needs to do to break even, but really I did this speculative attack to increase my BTC position. What do I mean by speculative? I'm speculating that in a year's time the price of BTC is going to go higher, and if you're in this community, if you're in this field, I hope you think that BTC is going to go higher. Because that's why we're all here, because we believe in the coin, we think, we have conviction, and we think that it's going to do good things, and the BTC price will go up, the number go up, philosophy and the number go up, oracle will come true, and that's why we're all here. Do I have anything else to talk about? I don't know. I really wasn't prepared. I just haven't made a video in a long time, so I turned on the camera and got ready to go. Yeah, unfortunately, well, it's not over yet. Unfortunately, I've talked about him and other on-chain analysts. They're not wrong yet, but it's November, 16th or something? Man, we only have 14 days in November and then 30 more in December. A lot of people, and beyond the on-chain analytics, and just a lot of people in crypto, we're calling for end-of-the-year BTC prices of 100K. 200K, 250K, 300K, 75K. As of right now, that has not happened. So we got about 45 days for a lot of people to be right or a lot of people to be wrong. Is that the end of crypto? If BTC is at 100,000 by the end of the year, I think that's a pretty conservative number that a lot of people have chosen for Bitcoin to be. Was 100K by the end of 2021. Does that mean it's broken? Does that mean it's done? No, certainly not. BTC price is probably the best indicator of the health of the market, of the crypto community, of the crypto market overall. But things are happening. A lot of things are happening beyond Bitcoin. I have described myself as a non-maximalist. I enjoy their take. I don't judge them. I don't think they're stupid or have any qualms with their Bitcoin maximalist position. For all I know, they could be right. I just don't have the same outlook on it, and we'll see which one plays out: a multi-coin world or a Bitcoin world. It's just one of the things where, not that my opinion sways, day to day, but I'll listen to smart people on both sides of the argument. Not that it's necessarily an argument all the time, but I'll listen to both people on different sides of the argument. When I listen to a BTC maximalist about full nodes and what the Lightning Layer 2 technology solutions can do, maybe a little bit of Liquid, but mostly Lightning. I just listened to Saifedean and Jack Mallers about what Lightning can do, and it's extremely impressive what it looks like it can do for people, what it can do for businesses, and what it can just do for overall. I mean, basically, Bitcoin, the network itself, we're talking about the network here, which if you want to think about the network, I believe it's Bitcoin capital B, and if you're talking about the coin or the token, it's Bitcoin lowercase. So if we're talking about Bitcoin, the network here, Jack Mallers and others have built this thing called the Lightning Network. Well, Jack Mallers didn't build it; he's just utilizing it or using it. And basically, they can send fiat money to anywhere in the world for basically free to anyone else in the world using the Lightning Network. So if I, as an American, want to send some USD to, and I actually think it's better than this, if I want to send some USD to Australia, to someone that I know that's there, I can do it in the blink of an eye as long as we both have the Strike app. The Strike app uses the Lightning Network, and there's other apps that use the Lightning Network. I've fooled around with some. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, the Lightning Network and how it plays out, check out BTC Sessions. He has great content on pretty technical stuff, especially the Lightning Network. He's reviewed a different bunch of apps, like one is called Muun Wallet, M-U-U-N, and just different wallets that have both BTC on-chain and BTC Lightning, and just what it can do. Also, Twitter has Lightning payments on it now as well, or Lightning tips. So if two people have Twitter, you can easily send Bitcoin back and forth to each other. Now, I'm talking about being a maximalist because you think that the layered approach fixes everything on Bitcoin, and that may definitely come true. Getting on and off the Lightning ramp, I don't know, maybe that provides a problem. Maybe that is somewhat expensive. And just another reason why I still believe in Litecoin, because Litecoin also has the Lightning Network, and it's getting something, or I think it's getting something called atomic swaps. Now, I don't understand the technology side of it, but this is what it purports to do. It takes your BTC using Lightning, takes your LTC, and you can transfer into BTC for virtually free. So that's called atomic swaps. So if you wanted to get your LTC and trade it into BTC, that's like a common, or even let's think about two other coins, LTC or USDC, or even, I think this would work, USDC and BTC. When you think about that USDC, BTC, or even USDC to LTC pairing, when you think about that, that is a humongous, massive, enormous use case. People do that all the time. But right now, how people get their BTC, Bitcoin to USDC, and then cash out the dollars, or LTC, or any other coin, how they do that right now is usually an exchange, or usually some type of trading mechanism that's on a wallet or exchange. I'll give you two examples. Going from BTC to USDC on BlockFi or swap. You're going to say, I want to exchange my BTC. Sometimes it might say sell BTC and buy USDC. Now, when you're doing that, unless the exchange covers the costs, which usually they don't, or they charge a spread, it costs money to get your BTC to your USDC. There's mining fees on both. I believe it's both the BTC mining fee and whatever the USDC is on. Maybe it's ERC20, which we all know has high gas fees, or maybe it's something else. And I'm not sure if both mining fees apply when doing that. I always forget, but mining fees apply. And if you're doing an exchange, they want their cut too. So when you're exchanging a pairing, or even you're using, even if you're using Binance, I know it might feel like it's free, but when you're flip-flopping and you're switching and you're whatever word you're using, it's not, it's costing somebody something. So it might be free to the user on like Binance or something, but it's costing Binance some money. And so if they're making money, if they're covering the cost of that, somehow you're going to pay for that as the end user. Hopefully that all makes sense. So why are atomic swaps using the Lightning Network important? And I'm sure Bitcoin is working on atomic swaps as well, but they're kind of, I'll say it, they're a little bit conceited, thinking, why would anybody want to switch from BTC to anything else? So they think, just buy BTC and you're always going to hold it. Why would you ever need to switch into USDC unless you're selling to pay off debt or for whatever, repay bills or whatever? You don't really need to go in and out of coins. Okay, well, tons of people come in and out of coins all the time. So what the atomic swaps do, hopefully they'll do, is using the Lightning Network, what I just described with Jack Mallers and what he did with fiat, sending it for basically free. What atomic swaps can do is, if I want to go from LTC to USDC, it's using the Lightning Network and you're incurring minimal costs. So if you have $1,000 worth of LTC and you want to make it go to USDC, I'm just guessing on like a typical exchange or in a wallet that like Exodus wallet that you can switch those two things in where you'll have mining fees. I'll estimate that $1,000 of LTC to USDC, you'll end up with 980 USDC. So like a $20 or maybe a 2% or 1%, I don't know what it is, charge. And that sucks, especially when you're dealing with small margins. I've noticed a lot of people, they're talking about crypto now and they're getting into crypto and they're starting with $50, $100. Good for them. Seriously, good for them. You got to start somewhere. I started at 0. I didn't ape in. I started with 50, 100, 1,000, stuff like that. Everybody starts at 0 sometime. So we need solutions and tools for these people to not lose their money along the way, because you kind of want to play with it. You want to come in and out. You kind of want to send your coins. I know hodling is the way, but to learn crypto, you kind of have to use it a little bit. You just do. If you haven't sent yourself Litecoin or Bitcoin to a public address, you're going to feel very uneasy doing it for the first time. It's when you do if you can remember, when you did your first transaction using a public address, it was like alien technology. It was difficult. It was weird. So the tools for these noobs are going to need built out. So when they see, and a lot of them think it's like magic, when they have $1,000 and they want to cash out and they're hit with that 2% or $25 charge, they're like, what the hell is going on? And it might be a big turnoff event. So these atomic swaps, if you can go from LTC to USDC or LTC to BTC using the Lightning Network, and you can think of atomic swaps as like, here's the base layer, we're going to do it underground, and it's cheaper, it's faster, it's on fiber optics or something. If you think about it that way, it's using a second layer approach to switch in and out of two different blockchains. And somehow with, the magical internet money and all these magical protocols, you're doing it for very cheap. I'm talking LTC to BTC might cost you, I don't know, a penny or something like that. So you can see the use case. If at one point it cost you $20 to go from LTC to USDC, and now using atomic swaps, you can use LTC to USDC for a penny. That's a big use case. Why is it a big use case? Because as the ecosystem grows, you're going to see a lot of people coming into stable coins, going out of stable coins, and the flow of money, the volume is going to explode. It has exploded. And I don't know about you, but every time I go into a stable coin, coming in and out of a stable coin, using LTC, using BTC, experimenting with other coins like Solana, Ethereum, Polkadot, I'm forgetting one, Cardano. When you're using these things, it kind of sucks that like the original, if you remember Shapeshift, the original Shapeshift cost like a big chunk of change every time you did this. Now there's other solutions to this that people are working on, but I think this is very promising, the Lightning Network, to solve this. So if you can come in and out of coins for virtually free, you're going to see even more volume. One of the reasons to hodl is because every time you move stuff around, the sloshing mechanism, you're losing coin. You're losing coin, you're losing money. And no one wants to be losing money. So as the ecosystem grows, if we see the solutions where swapping or transferring or moving or sending and receiving, if that all scales down, the usage is going to go up. It's just simple math, economics. And so that's one of the reasons I'm really excited for this thing on Litecoin and Bitcoin called atomic swaps. People have been talking about this for 5 years or so, but I think it's maybe coming to fruition in the next 1 or 2 years. Now, what you have to understand about these technologies, including Bitcoin and Litecoin, is that, for instance, Mimblewimble is going to be implemented on the Litecoin blockchain. What you have to understand is that in order to use the freshest and newest and greatest updates, really you want to be running a node, and really you're going to have to use something called Bitcoin Core or Litecoin Core on your, typically it's like a desktop computer. And I don't even run a full node on Litecoin. I should do that real soon. And to use the newest and greatest technologies, you really want to run like the most pristine, you want to use the most pristine wallet and run a full node. Why? Okay, so if you're using the best wallet on a desktop and you're running a full node, you can do all these things. You can use Mimblewimble, you can probably use atomic swaps, you can use Lightning transactions. So even though they're possible, technically, and through technology they're possible, these things really have to be built out and played out, built out, and embraced. So what do I mean by that? Mimblewimble is coming to Litecoin, so it's going to be possible to use that technology on Litecoin. But for end users like myself and many people, probably 99% of the community, you're going to need to use a wallet to do that. So like I said, if you're running a full node and you're using, I think it's called Litecoin Core, you'll be able to do it. But if you're on your phone using an app, or if you're on your desktop using Exodus or a third-party wallet, you're not going to be able to do that right away. It has to be built out, and it has to be coded and developed by a developer, someone that builds these wallets. So even though Litecoin's going to have Mimblewimble, even though Bitcoin has Lightning, it really needs to be built out by developers. So even though the technologies are going to be ready, they have to be ready for the consumers to use, ready for the users to use, and that takes time, takes talent, and it always doesn't immediately have any economic or financial benefit. So it's hard for some of these technologies to grow, especially when there's no benefit right away, especially to exchanges. For instance, SegWit wasn't implemented for years by lots of exchanges because it took time, talent, investment, financially, and through work. So you're not going to see all these technologies, even though they're possible, built out right away. So we kind of have to temper expectations, and you have to let the coinomics or whatever, the coin build out. And you can help promote it on Twitter, or help go for it, and emailing different communities saying, hey, this looks really cool, let's build it out. Once it's built out, we'll be able to use these awesome technologies more and more and more. Hopefully it increases volume and just attracts more people to the space. So like anything, it's not magic. It is just an internet protocol. So you have to do your research and have to take your time to understand these things. Yeah. All right. So I'm excited about Litecoin. I'm excited about Bitcoin. I'm really banking on the price in the next 4 months, next 5 months. I'm really hoping the price does what a lot of these on-chain analytics, a lot of these price, the Nostradamuses are predicting, 150, 200K, and then I'll be extremely satisfied, and my speculative USD attack will work out. And at the end of the day, I want financial sovereignty. That would be beautiful if I can accomplish that. And really, I want financial sovereignty for everybody in this space. I would love for everybody to go on a better standard. Speaking about standards, I'll finish off with Saifedean. He basically wrote the Bible of the space, the Bitcoin standard. He is following that up with the fiat standard. I have that book on order. Got the hardcover because hardcovers never die and they're just better books. So I'll be excited to read that book, and maybe I'll share it with you guys what my thoughts are. If you haven't read the Bitcoin standard, you have to read the Bitcoin standard. It is the #1 book that you've got to read in this space. If you don't read any other book, it's got to be that book. People bring it up almost at every interview, every podcast, just everywhere. People bring up the Bitcoin standard because it's that important. You'll see how Bitcoin, through economics, through stock to flow, through all these mechanisms, becomes the world reserve currency. It makes the world a better place, and it obsoletes a lot of these fiat economists that have done the world a lot of bad, a lot of pain. So yeah, look out for the Fiat Standard by Saifedean Ammous. Exciting times. Crypto's not dead. Just because it dropped $10,000 doesn't mean it's not going anywhere. Let's have a little bit more conviction, a little bit more excitement, and we'll go to the moon.